number 12, module 2, practice test number 4. The Young Girl is a 1920 short story by Katherine Mansfield. In the story, the narrator takes an unnamed 17-year-old girl and her younger brother out for a meal. In describing the teenager, Mansfield frequently contrasts the character's pleasant appearance with her unpleasant attitude, as when Mansfield writes of the teenager blank, which quotation from the young girl most effectively illustrates the claim. So what we need is that the frequently contrast the character's pleasant appearance. We need something where the character's pleasant appearance is mentioned and also at the same time an unpleasant attitude. It should have both. Then only we can select that quotation from this particular, this one. A says, I heard her murmur, I can't bear flowers on a table. They had evidently been giving her intense pain, for she positively closed her eyes as I moved them away. Choice A is not correct because the teenager's reaction to the flowers, she is just reacting that I can't bear flowers on a table, doesn't make it clear that she has an unpleasant attitude, and nothing in the quotation indicates that any part of her appearance is pleasant. So nowhere they are talking about anything about her face or her looks at all in this case. So we cannot take A. B is the best answer because this one says, while we waited, she took out a little gold powder box with a mirror in the lid, shook the poor little puff as though she loathed it, and dabbed her lovely nose. Here we can see that her lovely nose has been mentioned. So B is the best answer because it most effectively illustrates the claim in the text that in describing the teenaged girl, Mansfield contrasts the character's pleasant appearance with her unpleasant attitude. What is the unpleasant attitude? In the quotation, Mansfield describes the teenager as having a lovely nose. That is a compliment about her appearance, but also you can see that how she's treating treating her makeup puff as though she loathed it. Loathed it is something that she didn't like it, a judgment suggesting her unpleasant attitude. So here she shook the poor little puff as though she loathed it. So it's a kind of a bad behavior, but she is looking good. That's what we needed. Then C is not correct because the quotation here it says, I saw after that she couldn't stand this place a moment longer, and indeed she jumped up and turned away while I went through the vulgar act of paying for the tea. So this one is incorrect very obviously because the quotation suggests that the teenager has an unpleasant attitude, that is she is being upset and she's walking away with the location and leaving the table before the narrator had paid for the meal, but it doesn't give any indication that she has a pleasant appearance. Although the unpleasant behavior is mentioned, nothing about how she looks is mentioned at all. And then choice D, she didn't even take her gloves off, she lowered her eyes and drummed on the table. When a faint violin sounded, she winced and bit her lip again. Silence. So choice D is again incorrect because the quotation suggests that the teenager may have an unpleasant attitude, that is she's lowering her eyes, wincing and all that, sitting in silence, but it doesn't give any indication that any part of her appearance is pleasant. So B is the only one which is talking about her lovely nose. So I hope that's clear.